If you're someone who's watched a migraine coming and felt completely powerless to stop it, this next part is for you. Maybe it starts with a strange flicker of light at the edge of your vision, or a tightness creeping up the back of your neck, or that heavy, foggy feeling that tells you, deep down, here it comes again. Within an hour, sometimes less, you're lying in a dark room with the curtains drawn, waiting for it to pass. Here's what most people don't realize: by the time the pain hits, your body has often been sending warning signals for hours, sometimes even a day or more before. Most of us were just never taught how to recognize them. I'm Dr. Sara Michelle, and today I want to walk you through something a little different. Not another list of migraine triggers you've already heard 100 times. I want to show you the early warning window, that quiet stretch of time before a migraine fully takes hold, and what you can actually do during it. Because for many people, that early window is where the real opportunity is. Not after the pain starts, before it. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand your migraines differently and you'll have a simple, natural routine that may help you catch the next one before it fully sets in. The prodrome phase. Most people think a migraine just switches on like a light. 1 minute you're fine, the next you're reaching for the aspirin bottle. But that's not quite how it works. A migraine tends to build in stages. The stage before the headache is called the prodrome phase, and research shows it can start anywhere from a few hours up to 24 to 48 hours before the pain begins. For some people, even longer. That's up to 2 days of warning signs, and most of us never learn to read them. So what do those signs actually look like? They're often subtle enough to explain away as being tired, stressed, or just having an off day. You might feel unusually irritable over something small. You might crave something sweet out of nowhere. Your neck might feel stiff while you're doing the dishes, or you might find yourself yawning constantly even after a full night's sleep. Some people notice they're more sensitive to light, squinting under fluorescent lights that never used to bother them. If you're nodding right now, that's the point. These aren't random little annoyances. They're your nervous system signaling that something is building. This matters even more as we get older, since our bodies often become more sensitive to swings in blood sugar, dehydration, sleep disruption, and stress hormones, all common migraine triggers. And when a migraine does hit, it doesn't just ruin an afternoon. For a lot of people, it means canceling plans with grandchildren, missing a family dinner, or losing a Saturday to a dark bedroom instead of the garden. Here's where most people go wrong. They wait until the pain is already pounding before trying to do anything. By then, the migraine has fully taken hold, and it's much harder to interrupt, like trying to put out a bonfire instead of a spark. So the real question isn't, what do I do when a migraine hits? It's, how do I recognize the spark, and what do I do in that narrow window before it grows? Your personal pattern. Migraines tend to follow patterns, almost like a personal fingerprint. Once you start paying attention, your own pattern is often more predictable than you'd expect. A migraine isn't just a bad headache. It's a whole-body neurological event involving changes in blood vessels, brain chemistry, and how your nervous system processes ordinary sensations like light, sound, and smell. That's why, during a migraine, even the hum of a refrigerator or the smell of coffee can feel unbearable. It's a real, measurable shift in the nervous system, not in your head. This is also why generic advice like just relax or drink some water often falls short. It's not wrong, but it's incomplete because your early warning signs are likely different from your neighbors, or your sisters. Take a woman I'll call Linda, a retired schoolteacher in her 60s. For years, she assumed her migraines came out of nowhere. But once she started paying attention, she noticed a pattern. Almost every migraine was preceded by a poor night's sleep and skipping her afternoon water because she'd gotten busy in the garden. Once she saw that pattern, she wasn't caught off guard anymore. That's the piece most migraine advice misses. It's not about following someone else's checklist. It's about becoming a detective in your own life. A few common but often overlooked triggers worth watching for. Weather shifts. Changes in barometric pressure, especially right before a storm, are a recognized trigger for many people. Sleep changes in either direction. Too little sleep is an obvious culprit, but oversleeping, like sleeping in late on a Saturday, can also disrupt your body's rhythm and trigger a migraine, which is why some people get what's sometimes called a weekend migraine. Blood sugar swings. Skipping breakfast or having something sugary without much else in your stomach can trigger the same nervous system cascade, especially if you're managing diabetes or prediabetes. Before we get to the natural routine itself, start simply by noticing. Not analyzing, not worrying, just noticing. What happened the day before? Your last migraine? Did you sleep more or less than usual? Was the weather shifting? Did you eat on a regular schedule? Once you can spot even one or two of your own early warning signs, you're no longer waiting helplessly for the pain to arrive. You're standing at the edge of that window with a real chance to act. The Early-Window Toolkit. Here's what you can actually do once you catch that early window. These steps are simple, natural, and most take just a few minutes. Hydrate before you're thirsty. By the time you feel thirsty, you're often already behind. If you notice neck stiffness, yawning, or irritability, treat that as your cue to drink a full glass of water right away. Some people add a pinch of salt or an electrolyte drink, especially after time in the sun or a warm afternoon. Be careful with caffeine. Many people reach for coffee to push through the fog, but caffeine cuts both ways with migraines. A small amount can sometimes help in the early window, but too much, or drinking it later than your usual routine, can make things worse for some people. If you drink coffee daily, consistency matters. A sudden drop in your usual caffeine intake can trigger a migraine on its own. If you're unsure how caffeine affects your migraine specifically, it's worth tracking it alongside your other patterns. Consider your magnesium intake. Some people managing migraines run low in magnesium without realizing it. Foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, and almonds are naturally rich in it. If you're considering a magnesium supplement, talk to your doctor first, especially if you take other medications. Step away from bright screens and harsh lighting the moment you notice early signs. Your nervous system is already becoming more sensitive to light during this window, so dimming the lights or closing your eyes in a quiet room for 10 to 15 minutes can help. Ease tension in your neck and shoulders. Many migraines are connected to tension building at the base of the skull, common for people who spend time gardening, doing dishes, or hunched over a book. A gentle neck stretch or a warm compress during the early window can help. Release that tension before it escalates. Try slow, deliberate breathing. When your nervous system senses a migraine building, it often shifts into a subtle stress response, shallow breathing, tense shoulders, a racing kind of alertness. Breathing in for a count of 4, holding for 4, and out for 4 can help calm that response. 2 to 3 minutes, done the moment you notice your early signs, can take the edge off. None of these steps work as well in isolation. It's the combination that seems to give people their best shot at catching a migraine before it fully takes hold. And the entire point is catching that window early, while your body is still whispering, not yet shouting. Bringing it together. For years, a migraine can feel like an unpredictable, unwelcome guest. But once you understand that your body is giving you warning signals, often a day or more in advance, that shifts. You're no longer just reacting. You're watching. You're prepared. Those early signs, neck stiffness, unusual cravings, yawning, sensitivity to light, aren't random annoyances. They're information. Keep a simple mental note, or jot things down for a couple of weeks, and your own pattern will likely start to emerge, the way Linda's did. From there, keep your small toolkit ready: a glass of water with a pinch of salt, a handful of magnesium-rich foods, stepping away from bright screens, a gentle neck stretch, and a few minutes of slow breathing. None of this requires a prescription or an overhaul of your life. It just requires catching that early window, the one so many people miss because no one ever taught them to look for it. If your migraines are frequent, severe, or changing in character, it's always worth talking to your doctor. This is general information, not a substitute for personalized medical care. But for many people, learning to listen a little earlier, with a few natural steps ready to go, can make the difference between losing a day to pain and catching the storm before it fully forms. If this helped you see your migraines a little differently, share it with someone in your life who deals with them too. And if you'd like more simple, natural ways to feel better as you age, you know where to find me. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.